are reaching out to you with another special edition from In Conversation, brought to you by Daily Mirror. And today we are here to commemorate the National Day of the Kingdom of Thailand. And I have with me the distinguished ambassador herself, Her Excellency Chulamanee Chartsuwan.
Hi, hello.
Thank you so much for joining me with us.
Oh, it's our pleasure. Welcome to the Thai Embassy.
Thank you so much. And despite all the challenges that we're going through this year, it's important for us to see the silver lining and to celebrate and to kind of look back and be thankful of the journey that we've had. And when we look back, we can see that Sri Lanka and Thailand has had a very special friendship, and it goes many, many years back. Sri Lanka and Thailand, they have a close relationship mainly based on Buddhist principles. Can you maybe, if from your perspective, I would like to know what this historical relationship is like.
Oh, okay, thank you. This year marks the 65th anniversary of our diplomatic relations. But actually, our relations goes back almost a millennium. Wherever I go in Sri Lanka, Sri Lankan people always reminded me that Sri Lankan got the high ordination Upasampata from back from the Upali Thero in 267 years ago. But actually, our relation start even longer than that, because actually Thailand get Buddhism from Sri Lanka something like 800 years ago, and we call our Buddhism Lanka Vamsa, which means from Lanka. So this is really something that Thai people remember and appreciate, that we get Buddhism from Sri Lanka. And more important than that, not so many Sri Lankan people know this. Since that time, 800 years ago, Sri Lanka, we Thai people always looked upon Sri Lanka as our model for development. When I walk in Polonnaruwa, I felt like I walk in our old capital called Sukhothai. And when I come back and read history, I found out that actually there are a number of Sri Lankan in Sukhothai at that time and helped building up this new capital. That's why there's so much similarities. Even your bell-shaped Jetiya, the pagoda, you can find everywhere in Thailand. The history is show that Sri Lanka is some place that we always look upon. Only like 200 years ago, when the new capital, Bangkok, was founded, and the king built one most important temple called Chetupon Temple, the painting on the wall in that temple, in the building that housed the most famous reclining Buddha in Thailand, where President Obama visited, in that building, the wall painted history of Sri Lanka from Mahavamsa. And this show, of course, you will not paint history of country that you don't like in your most important temple. So this show very well our very strong relations. And these lead to strong foundation for our relations, strong people-to-people contact. And I have to say that I feel so much privileged to be here, to serve as ambassador of Thailand to Sri Lanka, because I feel so much welcome here because of our history and culture, and of course religious background, and of course I feel so much at home.
Thank you so much for expressing your gratitude and sharing your perspective on the history, this amazing history we have between Sri Lanka and Thailand. Also, I would like to know your side of your experience, your work tenure here as an ambassador. What really strikes you in the work you do, and what aspects of Sri Lanka that has captured your eye, and what kind of work you've been up to? I'm actually very curious.
Oh, we are all friends. But, as old friends, human have tendency to not take old friends serious. That's always the problem. Thailand and Sri Lanka relation is very strong in from historical background. And then my main mission is to turn such mutual goodwill into something concrete, something that is contemporary, and that is a challenge in both countries. In Thailand, I have to convince people also that Sri Lanka is more than place where we get Buddhism. Sri Lanka has so much potential. It is a hub of Indian Ocean. And here in Sri Lanka, I also have to tell people that Thailand is more than friendly people, more than beautiful places that you go for shopping, for pilgrimage. There are much more in Thailand that we can offer. So first, let me touch a little bit on our friendship. My mission here, of course, I have to reconfirm what has been going on through our history, that we are time-tested friends in Sri Lanka. I have been here 3 years and a half, and throughout these 3 years, the Thai government has donated 1 computer lab in 1 orphanage and 2 libraries in 2 primary schools, 1 in Colombo and 1 in Anuradhapura. And we also work with NGO during the Easter bombing to help mitigate the hardship, the suffering of the people who affected by that bombing. You may note that the first group of tourists that come to Sri Lanka, less than 1 month after the bombing, are Thai pilgrims. They are here to show that Thai people stand by Sri Lanka in time of crisis. There are a number of Thai private sectors here, the investor, and they show that they are good citizens to help, to support the sustainable development here in Sri Lanka. For example, INC Cement, which is our biggest Thai investor so far, has contributed generously to the reconstruction of the church that were bombed during Easter bombing, and I'm very proud that I was with the chairman of INC Cement to meet the cardinal to inform this good news. And of course, INC Cement and many other Thai companies have a number of CSR projects here. And the embassy also worked with Cinema Lakeside. Last year, we organized Thai Food Festival, which is successful. And we donate part of the profit to an NGO that help mitigate the suffering of the victims of the Easter bombing. So I'm very proud of that also. And so I mentioned all this to say that Thailand is more than popular tourist destination. Thailand is more than another Buddhist country, but Thailand is your friends, and we have many things that we can work together, the 2 countries. My first mission here as ambassador, when I started working first week 3 years ago, at that time Sri Lanka faced dengue pandemics, and I worked closely with the WHO, World Health Organization office in Sri Lanka, to bring 2 Thai experts here to help planning and support the medical services here to eradicate dengue. I'm very proud of that record, and people in medical field still talk about this mission until now. And let's show that we have appropriate technology to offer. We are now, when my Prime Minister visited Sri Lanka 2 years ago, we signed what we call strategic economic partnership, in which the 2 countries, not only Thailand, but we work together, identify 10 priority areas that we should work together for mutual benefit. And this strategic economic partnership does not have I have to admit it, does not have so much progress because of different factors, like especially this COVID pandemics, which put everything on the hold. But I really hope that it can be picked up and concretized, because I believe that this is the direction that we should go. It's already identified, and it's already what both countries should work together. We also have what we call alternative homegrown development philosophy, which is based on Eastern philosophy about moderation, about reasonableness, and about immunity. We call this philosophy sufficiency economy philosophy, which came from my king, the late king, who crystallized this philosophy from his development projects. He worked in development projects throughout his reign, 70 years. So he crystallized this philosophy, and we are proud that we work with the Samudri ministry to have it to promote this philosophy in 3 pilot villages in Polonnaruwa, Kandy, and Puttalam. And what we are doing is not, we do not just simply hand-on support, assistance, funding, but we want to empower people. My king, my late king, used the word burst from within. You must want to do it from by yourself. Nobody can just tell you what to do. You just have to burst from within. So that's what we try to instill in the people, to empower them to think about their own problem and to solve it by themselves. So this is what I want to. I think that this is what the development is. And our bilateral trade, still not so much, something like 500 million US dollar per year. There are more rooms to increase. Investment, we have a number of investments here. We still have so many rooms to increase. And I think the current government, with the situation that you want to promote more import substitution industry, I think this is good open ample room for investment in areas that good for Sri Lanka, and we are ready to come here. But we need clear sign from the government that they are serious. We need ease of doing business. We need facilitation of investment, single window, and so that investors who are already interested to come here, they can decide to come here, and this will, in turn, you can select areas that support your development.
Definitely, and the contribution of the both sides of the partnership is very important.
Yes.
Which brings me to my next question. Actually, there's much conversation about the free trade agreement between Sri Lanka and Thailand. If we take the road map, where are we at the moment?
Actually, you should not ask me this question. Thailand is ready to come here, but of course, the ball is so much in the Sri Lankan court. I understand that Sri Lankan will take some time to consider the FTA negotiations and to really make people understand what FTA is. So I think that as I mentioned, the ball is in Sri Lankan court on this issue. I believe that FTA, like everything in the world, it has good side and negative side, but we can bring out the good one. One thing is what we call the connectivity. Sri Lanka is connectivity hub of Indian Ocean, and Thailand is positioned as connectivity hub of Southeast Asia. And there are so many things that we can gain together from working together, connect the connectivity. And then you connect the dot, and the dot is bigger than just two simple dots. But both of us are connectivity hub.
Definitely, and I'm sure you have witnessed the potential
Oh yes,
by
so much.
traveling regionally as well. As much as you've traveled in the Kingdom of Thailand, I'm certain that you have experienced what Sri Lanka has to offer as well. So let's share a little bit about your experience. What are your key highlights in terms of your time here?
I travel very extensively. Yeah, I have to
Hope you
say.
enjoy it.
I enjoy it very much. I even climb up Sipata.
Amazing. How was
Yeah,
the experience?
oh.
It's very
Very
challenging, yes. And those who conquer it, they feel something, you know, like they felt like they achieved something more
Yes,
within.
yes.
So,
It's very challenging physically, but it's very uplifting mentally and spiritually. Just to see people walk up there with their faith. Some of them are so old, some of them could not walk, and their sons carry them on their back, and it's like you feel something. It's really touching experience. This is one thing that I
one of
mention.
many things.
I tell everyone that they come Sipata. Anyway, my key highlight, I would say there are three. My first highlight is that I organized the royal cremation of my late king. The second highlight is, of course, the visit of my Prime Minister in 2018. I think during his visit, the number of documents were signed. One is the MOU on technical cooperation related to value addition of primary products. Another one is Joint Action Plan on Sustainable Community Development Models. I think these are the directions that I want to see our countries go on. I think, and it will benefit Sri Lanka a great deal, that if you can have value addition to primary products, which you have so many. And my third highlight is that I was head of Thai delegation to bring the sacred Poti sampling from Anuradhapura to Thailand. This is the gift from the President of Sri Lanka upon the coronation of the new king, and it was the sapling was planted by my Prime Minister and Minister of Buddha Sasana, Mr. Kaminipara, as representative, as special envoy of the President. This is one of the key highlights, because actually this is the first gift by head of state of another country to my new king. So it's very beautiful ceremony, both here in Anuradhapura and also in Bangkok.
That's true. And most of our drive to actually move forward comes from obstacles as well.
Yes.
Which brings me to our next question of the experience woven around the pandemic, the COVID-19 situation, and all the countries aspire to get into a transition period where we can recover and move forward. And this is a very collective effort. It's not a competition anymore, because this has affected us equally. So I would like to know from you, how do you intend to promote tourism after the COVID-19 pandemic, after it hit? What do you foresee in terms of this journey?
Actually, Thailand opened the country already. First, I have to start that every country have to strike balance between public health risk and economic progress. Thailand is the country that our tourists, as everyone knows, our tourist industry is huge. Last year, we have almost 40 million tourists visit Thailand, and this year close the border, so you can imagine the effect that it has on the economy. So we have to open the country gradually, cautiously. At the moment, Thailand open the country. We give visa, tourist visa, we give business visa, on the condition that the visitors must have quarantine for 14 days in the country before they can go anywhere. And there is so all the bilateral visa arrangement like visa free or visa exemption is now no longer valid. Everyone needs visa. But anyway, it's just getting open and open. So I think let's see how it is. There are still several ideas to promote tourism. For example, we are now working with Agoda so that people can book quarantine online very easily. There are so many offers, so that is easy. There are ideas about quarantine in golf course. You just go there, you play golf, don't go out. This is one of the ideas. So there are a few ideas that people are trying, but we starting to open.
I think it's about the right timing and positioning yourself in the right place at the right time, and we are hoping to see a silver lining very soon. And speaking of trying to improve the tourism sector, Thailand and the Kingdom of Thailand and Sri Lanka has had a very significant relationship in sharing amazing elements of attraction. We both rich in biodiversity, religious significance, and we have the attraction from around the world. And I recall that back in 2018, Prime Minister himself, Prayut Chan-o-cha, suggested of implementing a joint program. So I would like to know, how do you see these opportunities coming in line for us in terms of Thailand and Sri Lanka being the best tourist attractions in their respective regions?
Actually, Sri Lanka started serious tourist promotion just after Civil War ended, which is 10 years ago. And within such short time, only 1 decade, Sri Lanka already ranked number 1 in Lonely Planet. That shows that you must do something very good, right? You must be in somewhat correct direction. So I have to congratulate Sri Lanka on that. It's very fast that you can promote the country. But of course, the challenge comes with this Easter bombing, with this pandemics that put things on hold. I think this is a good time that Sri Lanka should think through what should be done, because it gives you some space to think through what should be done so that after COVID go away, after we have vaccine, what can Sri Lanka be a better place, more attractive tourist attraction. I think that tourism is not only about having attractive places to offer, but it has the ecology of it. For example, road network, it takes time. Sri Lanka has so many things to offer in short distance, but traveling time is still a big thing. So of course it takes time to build new roads and it costs money. But there are things that you can do. For example, the train is there, but if I may be very frank, it's totally impossible to book ticket. Especially first class ticket, train ticket is very difficult. This kind of thing that you can do, how to book train ticket easily so that people can travel more easily. Or you can think about maybe after COVID, maybe you can have more domestic flights so that I can visit Jaffna over the weekend.
Of course, Jaffna is very rich in its own culture.
Jaffna is so beautiful. Have more budget airline coming, this kind of thing. Actually, after Easter bombing and of course tourism in Sri Lanka affected, my embassy and together with Sri Lanka Thailand Business Council, we invited a guru, a very prominent businessman here, to give advice on business recovery plan in tourism sector and many other things that he mentioned. And we also, the Tourism Authority of Thailand, the Deputy Governor also came here and signed MOU with the Tourism Authority here on what to do, what next to do. We offer our support to so that we can share some experience, because of course Thailand has it all. We have faced all the challenge. We have terrorism, we have tsunami, we have political demonstrations and so on. So I think we have something to share, and we only hope that Sri Lanka can make good use of what we have offered. Actually, Sri Lanka has so much potential in tourism. You have 3,000 years of heritage to show to the world. But there are a few things that you can do better. If I may, for example, I think the products are still limited. Tour package in Thailand for Sri Lanka, normally it's 3-4 days, is mainly to go to Kandy, of course Dalada Malikawa, and then the Dambulla, and maybe back to go. That's it. Actually, Sri Lanka has so many things, and if you this is the only package sale. People will come one time and that's it. You can never have repeaters. So new products have to be on the offer. For example, Parahera. Can you think that Parahera is your tourist product? It's like carnival. Why people go to Brazil for carnival? Parahera is just like that. And you have so many. People know Parahera in Kandy, but other temples also organize it throughout the year. Then you can have proper promotion so that people can come throughout the year to see Parahera. It's cultural.
It's beautiful. It's so
beautiful.
Much potential.
It's cultural things that you can show, and it's throughout the year. And this town and that town and that town, people don't know about this. People know only Parahera in Kandy. There is no promotion on this. You have Sripata, I mentioned already. I believe that there will be many more Thai pilgrims who are still not too old, who will be interested
young at heart
to attend. And then you have wildlife, you have safari, you have whitewater raftings, you have blue whales. This thing never sell in Thailand. Please develop this product and sell it properly. Then you can attract many groups of people. Of course, Buddhist tourists is one thing. You can attract certain group of people, and then we can jointly promote it together. That's one way. But there are many other things. Don't limit yourself to only Buddhist tourists. Even Buddhist tourists, there are so many beautiful temples here. Of course, Thai people know Kandy. Thai people know Kelaniya. But can you imagine how so many people know Anuradhapura or temples down south? There are so many places that you can develop. In ancient time, I love history, as you can say. Many Thai people, monks, came here to visit Solasamahastan. I don't know. Yeah, I hope my pronunciation is not too bad. This is like 16 most sacred Buddhist sites. A number of places is like, according to legend, Buddha visit. This kind of thing, you can put it as package and promote it again. As I mentioned, you have civilization 3,000 years to show. So this kind of thing, I think should be good for the country. And may I mention another thing? Thailand is quite well known on MICE, meeting incentive, convention and exhibition. Sri Lanka also can do MICE, but you need more. Of course, you have good hotel rooms, but maybe there must be some training in hospitality business that can help uplift, because MICE they are business people. They need something efficient that they need, and they pay a lot. They spend a lot. So that is one thing that Sri Lanka can look into. So all this kind of
No, I think it was really amazing to see the amount of input that you gave. Thank you so much, because I think it was a matter of time to really practically discuss how we can constructively improve what we have and to develop the infrastructure. So your input means a lot. So
thank you very
on this
much.
special day, thank you so much for taking your time to help Sri Lanka as well in terms of what we can do, our prospects. So I truly appreciate it.
Yeah.
So we had with us Her Excellency Chulamanee Chartsuwan with us. Thank you so much. Hope you have a blessed special day today. And we hope collectively that this day would give more blessings to the world to heal and to recover from trying times.
Okay, thank you.